Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just Marco here today, and I am here to review Scream 2. And as you guys know, I really like the first one. I really, please go watch my first review if you haven't, because I'm intending this to be kind of like a rewatch of the whole series, and it should be really interesting to kind of see where I land on things, because I have not watched these movies in a long time, a long, long, long time, a long time. And so it's all leading up to the seventh movie, which I'm probably not going to see in theaters due to personal reasons. And so I want to just get straight into this movie, because I used to think that Scream 2 was the best one. I used to think that Scream 2 was the best Scream movie of the series, and I thought that it was just so much better in every way than the first one. And looking back, it's kind of interesting, because I don't think I think that anymore. I look at the first movie, and, looking at it from a critical perspective is kind of interesting too, because I think that a lot of people are correct about critics and how, you could just watch a movie and have fun with it. Like this film especially, this is a very, very good film. It's really not bad. But if you look at these films critically, it really puts things into a different perspective. And you just have to keep that in mind. Because when I looked at the first one with a critical eye, I saw a lot of things that I don't think that, I ever saw before. And I even saw things that nobody else has seen before. If you guys don't know, I am working on an analysis of the first movie called Scream 1 is a Ghost Movie. And I promise it's going to be really, really interesting and good. And, with the second one, I don't know if I like it as much as I did. And I definitely think the first one's better. I think that this is a major step down. That being said, I still think this is a great movie. It's a great horror movie. It's a great horror comedy, but it's not a great Scream movie. For some reason, it doesn't follow a lot of the first one in terms of, the first one had a lot of, how should I say it, very particular elements that made it so great. And instead of, following those same elements into this one, they decided to drop, some of the top things that made the first one good, such as the sexuality aspect. There was some sexuality throughout the movie, like the opening, and then there's a little stuff here and there, but it's nowhere near as pronounced as the first movie. And it was like that in the first movie for a reason. It was like that because it made things scarier. It made things feel a lot more dangerous. And there was also, that was a part of the motivation of the killers. Billy and Stu, Stu killed Casey because she broke up with him and shit like that. And so that was all a part of it. And so in this film, they just completely dropped that. And there's nothing like that in this movie, which it's why? Why would you get rid of one of the main aspects that made the first movie great? The second aspect would be the ghost element. There is no ghost anything in this entire movie. And that's coming from someone who's trying to look for that kind of stuff. There's nothing. There's nothing here, which is so strange. After the first movie, it was like the entire movie just constant supernatural references and types of ghost elements that made it, it had this, I don't even know how to describe it. It had a feel. It had a Scream feel. That is all gone from the second movie. So this is, right off the bat, the series did not get bad in the fifth and the sixth one. Well, I mean, in those movies, it got terrible, okay? But it did not get bad there. It all started here. Because they had a chance, Wes Craven, Kevin Williamson, they had a chance to do a sequel and to just build on the first one. And instead of that, this almost feels like a Scream movie written by Gale Weathers. It feels largely like a fan service epilogue. It feels like something that they were like, you know what? We didn't ever plan on doing a sequel. So let's just kind of, drop all the stuff from the first movie and pivot into like a more fan servicey type of big, I mean, this is definitely a crowd pleaser type of movie. It's like Stab. But at the same time, by abandoning those elements from the first movie, you're taking away what makes Scream scream. And I think, honestly, if you made another Scream movie and you put those elements back in there, which they're not going to do, because they can't handle it, they're not smart enough to do that. And I'm not saying that I'm smart. I'm not saying that I'm so smart that I could make a better Scream movie. I probably couldn't. And I wouldn't want to. I want to do my own thing. But, like, if you wrote a Scream 8 or 9 and you added those elements in, it is automatically going to be the best sequel since the second one. Which, I don't know. I might like the other ones better as I watch them. But, yeah, that's right off. That is what I think about the second movie. It is a major downgrade. It's a major, major downgrade. Because by taking those elements away, I mean, it would be the same thing. What if you were used to having spaghetti and meatballs, and then one night, your parents came home and they were like, you know what, little Timmy, we can't do homemade spaghetti tonight, so we got this. And they take out Stouffer's spaghetti, like frozen food spaghetti. And it's like, oh yeah, that's great. I guess I like spaghetti, so I'll eat it. And I'm not saying that this is a bad movie. I want that to be clear for sure. I really like this movie. I really enjoy it. And I really hate to even rag on it because it used to be my favorite of the series, and it used to be the one that I was like, yeah, that was great. But now that I look back, I just think that it's a shame that they never really made a sequel to the first movie. It's a shame that they went into... I mean, usually in a series, in a horror movie series, it takes a while to get to the comedic, fan servicey type of movie. Like Nightmare on Elm Street, the third one got comedic, but then the fourth one, that was when it became crowd pleaser, fan service crap. But this one, it's the second movie, and it's already like that, and it's really a shame. Now, for the things that this movie does well, I think that the music is great, not as good as the first one. It's not as scary as the first one. However, I think that in the first half, they're trying to retread the first movie a lot. There's a lot of retreading. And there's a lot of, let's just do that because it happened in the first movie. In the second half, after Randy dies, which we will talk about that in the spoiler section, okay? That's for damn sure. But in the second half, that's when Scream 2 gets really, really good. I think that the second half being as good as it is why a lot of people love it. Because in the second half, they're forced to stop, just copying the first one in terms of, not in terms of like, because this seems kind of hypocritical. I said that it's not like the first one, but then I said they're copying it. What I mean is like they're copying the surface level. They're copying like, these very, specific elements to make it feel like the first one. And so, but in the second half, they're forced to stop doing that, and that's when it gets a lot better. That's when you have a lot of originality, a lot of scary stuff, I think, in the second half. In particular, there's a sequence near the end. It's like a classic Alfred Hitchcock suspense sequence, and that is the best part of the entire movie. That part was like, wow. If the whole movie was like this, it would be like a Hall of Fame horror movie. And I would also say, too, one of the issues with this movie that I guess some people like, there's a lot of characters. There's a few too many. It feels like the opposite of the first one, where in the first one, they had a small cast of characters, and yet you felt like anyone could be the killer. In this movie, it's like a huge cast of characters. They have these two girls who are like very obvious, like sorority girl type of victims. They never get killed. There's a lot of people in this movie that they introduce that don't even get killed. I thought that was kind of cool, but there were a few too many characters, in my opinion. I feel like certain characters kind of got shafted, and there were certain other characters that it just kind of, they were just kind of thrown in there, like Dewey. He's not one of them, but the way that he is in this movie, I mean, why is Dewey even around? I mean, he is literally just, the first shot that they show Dewey, he just stumbles on screen, and he's like, oh, wait a second, Wes Craven put me in this one too. And he's just, it's like, what is he doing here? I mean, I'm seriously asking that question. Like, he's just there to see Sidney, but then he stays there and he keeps on popping up, and it's like, are they trying to hint that maybe he could be the killer because he's just randomly there? Like, that would have been really, really shitty if they made him the killer, to be honest. But overall, I think that this movie is a great, fun horror movie. I definitely would recommend it. I think that for all the criticisms that I'm going to give it in the spoiler half, I would highly recommend this movie. It's a surprise. It's like a fun surprise. It's like a breath of fresh air, but at the same time, it's like, I wish that they could have just stuck a little bit more faithful to the first movie and had those same elements that made it that good and made it that scary. I mean, still going through this one, who was that guy in the bathroom in the first movie who attacked Sidney? Because that was not one of the killers. So I mean, that was really creepy. Nothing like that happens in this entire movie. I will say that. So overall, again, this is a great sequel. It's a great movie, but it's really not a great Scream movie, to be quite honest. In terms of food, I'm going to give this, and by the way, I want this on the record because this is the non-spoiler section, but there is something that really bothers me about this movie. And that is what they did to Randy. Randy is dressed like a Fruit Loop in this movie. That's weird thing number one. He's dressed like a Fruit Loop. Literally. Number two, Sydney has friend-zoned him. Why? I have no idea. Because here's the thing. Sydney's a great character to a lot of people. She's a great final girl in the first movie because she's not the typical blonde, final girl. She's not the typical one. But in this movie, she becomes typical. She becomes expected. She becomes, that traditional final girl. And so it's really shitty that she friend-zoned Randy, that the character friend-zoned Randy, because it felt like, really? This is not Drew Barrymore. This is not, Casey. She's not you guys know what I mean? She's an abnormal final girl. She's an atypical final girl, and she's friend-zoning Randy? That's just, it doesn't even make sense, especially after the fact that in the first movie, they were kind of throwing around and hinting that those two could get together. There's one point in the movie where she even says that Randy is sexy. She's like, what you're doing is kind of sexy. And she's not like playing around. She is kind of playing around, but she's not like making fun of him or anything. She genuinely meant that she thought he was sexy. And then in this movie, for some reason, she friend-zoned him. She's with this new guy, played by, I think his name is Jerry O'Connell from Kangaroo Jack. And I do like that actor. I think that he's fine. I've never really seen him in anything like great, but except for this movie, I guess, because Kangaroo Jack is not great. That just felt like that was a very strange choice to have her friend zone him. And then number two, he gets killed halfway through the movie, which was horrible. I mean, that was the stupidest. That was such an insult to the fans. That was such a huge mistake. That was the biggest mistake of Wes Craven's career. And by the way, I believe it's been said before, but he acknowledged that killing Randy was the biggest mistake of his career. It was like, WTF, like, why would you... It was very mean-spirited to that character in particular. And, yeah. I did not like that. I think that what should have happened in this movie is it should have been the opposite. It should have been that she was with Randy and Jerry O'Connell was the one that she friend-zoned, and it would be kind of hilarious, like, why? I mean, she friend-zoned him over Randy, and then Jerry is the one who gets killed in the news van, and then Randy could get killed at the end of the movie. That's what I would have done, I guess. But no, because I wouldn't have killed off Randy. I don't care. He should not have been killed off. He's the best character in the series. And to be quite honest, too, like the way that like Sydney, she cries about him a little bit, but it was really just kind of weird the way that they treated Randy, almost like he was like a little tiny side character, when he is one of the main reasons why the first movie is so beloved is because of him, because he represents the fans. And then in the second movie, he gets friend-zoned and he gets killed. That's a big, like, fuck you to the audience, to be honest. So, yeah. So, in terms of food, I made my mom's birthday cake this year, as I did last year. And I wanted to make a chocolate cake that was like the one in Matilda. And that's what Safi wanted. She wanted a chocolate cake. I tried to make 3 layers, and the third one completely fell apart. I was able to make the other 2 layers and make it in just kind of dress it up, and it worked out perfectly. But the third layer, I thought, you know what? I don't want to waste the cake and the icing. So I put the crumbles and the pieces of cake, the broken up cake, I put that into a bowl, and then I put all the leftover icing on top of it. So you could kind of scoop it out, and it's like, it's not great. It's like you're eating a lot of cake crumble with ice cream and icing, but it still has that same flavor, that same really good flavor, and it's still really, really good. It's just, it's not as good as the cake. It's not perfect like the cake is perfect. It doesn't have any flowers. In fact, I should have done that. That would have been a good idea, because I made all this buttercream and I decorated the cake, but I did not decorate the bowl, the cake bowl, or whatever you would call it. And so this movie is a cake bowl. It's like something that was kind of like a surprise. Like, oh yeah, like that was a good idea to do that with those ingredients, and to save those ingredients and not waste them. And yeah, and we both really liked it. Safi has now moved on. She has moved on to cookie dough ice cream. She loves ice cream. And I also, for her birthday, by the way, I got her ice cream dishes. Because we used to have these like old school 1950s Sunday dishes at our old house, but we did not take those when we left. And so I decided to get new ones. And they are actually better than the ones that we had at our house, I think. So, yeah. Anyways, now let's do the timestamp. Oh, yeah, I can't do that. Okay, if you want to see the spoiler half, if you want to get into the nitty-gritty of why this movie is good or bad or whatever, please go over to our Patreon page where you can see the whole spoiler review. You have to get the first tier, because in the first tier, you can get all the other crap that's in there, as well as full spoiler reviews for old movies. If you want to get access to the full spoiler reviews for new releases, you have to get the second tier. And so, check that out, and please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.